grab the laser pointer when we get out. Alright, so we're going to start with our in-cab inspection. So anybody that's joining us live, we're just going to burn through the pre-trip inspection. And we're going to start with the in-cab inspection. If you don't know, the brake check or the brake test is a pass or fail test. So you definitely want to get this right. And a lot of it is in the lingo, but a lot of it is actually knowing what to do. So we're going to start. When you cycle your key, you turn your key on, you'll let it cycle. You'll hear everything cycle. That was probably really loud. So what it does, like, it'll go through and check all the sensors, and you can hear it if you're outside of here, clicking through all of its little checks. But once all your lights go out, we'll start it up, we'll let it build pressure, and you'll notice already the low air warning light audible alarm is on and the low air warning lights are on. And you'll also notice both valves are already popped. So what these are, just to break this down in layman's terms, is these hold the spring brakes back. So once we build enough air, when these are engaged, all they're doing is holding the spring brakes back. So it's kind of counterintuitive. If you think about setting the emergency brakes, you're actually disengaging them. So the red one is your trailer trolley valve or your trailer valve, and the yellow one is your tractor valve. So we're going to start by doing our governor cutoff check, which we're kind of skipping through because generally when you get to the test site, you're already going to have your air built. So we're not going to redo this. Well, we might redo it depending on how much air we lose when we do the parking brake, trailer brake, and the service brakes. So this is going to take a second to build. And we're just going to let that build for a second. And I'm going to go grab my laser pointer. So y'all get to listen to this thing beep like I do every day.
No, 1 and 2. So that's your first tank of air, and that's your second. First
on this other side.
Yeah. That's your first, and then that's your secondary.
Okay. And where you want it at?
You want it around roughly 140. It'll cut off. Yeah. And then that light and the beep will cut on around somewhere 55. Like the test is set 60, but when you do it in a truck, like when you go through your class, it'll say 55. So it all depends.
They'll teach me a lot in class. So
yeah.
Yeah. Like that's how you learn all this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did the CDL direct class, which was this.
How much was it?
$250.
I should have just did that.
Yeah, and then after you complete the certificate, you just go to the DMV and you get your temps.
Yeah, I should have did that. Yeah, I go to Terra out of Fremont. That's where I live at, is Fremont. You drove a truck before?
Yeah. That's I drove a yard dog, automatic.
Yeah, you guys had the bad too.
I can't leave our yard because I'm not on insurance yet. Yeah.
That's cool though.
So I got experience, but not like a lot.
Yeah, what we'll do, like I told him, we're going to do just the pre-trip today. And then if you guys want to come back next week, we'll do a skills test. So I'm getting ready to move that shed. We'll be able to do it right here. So I have all the dimensions. I got cones, and I'll spray paint the lines. And I'll set this up the other way. And I'll show you exactly what you got to do to pass the test. So does anybody know what the pre-trip inspection is for?
so you don't get 50, 100 miles down the way and something breaks down. Practically, just make sure your truck's okay to be safe and secured on the road.
I like that answer. We're going to come back to that question. We're almost there. Once that goes out, we'll be good to go. So to start with, you see it went out. We don't have a light there anymore. The first thing you're going to do with your pre-trip inspection on your brake test is you're going to enable or disable your trailer brakes, and then you're going to check your tractor brakes. So you want the yellow button out, red button in. And all we're going to do is we're going to put it in gear, and we're going to give it a gentle tug. It doesn't move. Put it back in neutral, and you're going to say to the instructor, I've checked my parking brakes, my tractor parking brakes, and they are working. I will now check my trailer parking brakes, my trailer emergency brakes. Button out, button in. Yellow button in, red button out. This is for your trailer emergency brakes. Again, put it in gear. Now, because your tractor brakes in, you actually pull a little bit. My trailer parking brakes are working. I will now check my service brakes. So your service brakes, if you don't know, are also called your treadle valve or your foot pedal. Both buttons in. Don't go willy-nilly with this. You're just going to pull up a little bit, hit your brakes. My vehicle did not pull to one side or the other. My service brakes are working. So now you're going to put it back in neutral, and you're going to be in level ground at the test site. And we're going to do our governor shutoff check right now. So I'm going to do my governor shutoff check. My governor will shut off between 120 and 140 PSI. You're just going to sit here and wait for it to sneeze.
Is all trucks about that?
Yep.
Same number? Okay.
Yeah, if you're not over, and in fact, I think they changed it a little bit now too. If you're not over 125 PSI, that vehicle probably won't pass. So mine will air out about 125. And you'll hear it once it sneezes. We're about there. And this next part's very important. I know somebody failed the test because of this next part that I'm about to show you. And you can give it throttle. They're not going to mind. You might just help their day out a little bit. About 125. It'll be sneezing any second now. And this is, if you don't know, that's your primary tank and that's your secondary tank. So your primary tank generally operates all your air brakes, which is what we're doing. And then you heard the governor shut off. So you'll say to the examiner, my governor shut off valve activated at 125 PSI and is properly working. At this point, you're going to turn the ignition off. This is the important part right here because people have failed this test because of this simple thing. You just want to turn that back on. Because your low air warning light and buzzer are not going to go off if you don't. Your buttons will pop, but your buzzer won't go off. So now, with the engine off and the key in the on position, we're going to do our air leakage test. And you're going to say it just like I'm about to say it to your instructor. I will now perform the air leakage test. I will not lose more than 60 seconds. Will you me? treadle valve, service brake, whatever you want to call it, after the initial air loss. You can say that. That's not really a pass or fail. I would recommend saying it. So I will not lose more than 4 psi in 60 seconds after the initial air loss. Will you time me? And a lot of times they'll be like, okay, because you can see it's not going to leak, right? So I did not lose more than 4 psi in 60 seconds. My air pressure leak test is good. And at this point, you're going to do your low air warning light and low air warning buzzer. So I will fan off my brakes until I activate my low air warning light and buzzer between 40 and 60 psi. Begin fanning your brakes off. Here's a pro tip. Never do this, because you can do this to adjust your automatic slack adjusters. Never do this with your brake set. You'll blow your brake chambers. And you're just going to fan them off until the buzzer activates and the light. Make sure you got them both. See, I don't have an audible buzzer. Oh, technically I do. Okay, my low air warning light and buzzer are now active. They are working. I will now fan off the rest of my air until 20 to 40 psi to test my emergency brakes. Both buttons will pop between 20 and 40 psi. So to adjust your automatic slack adjusters, 1, 2, 3, hold it. And I'll show you how to test those two during the inspection. And you're going to go until those pop. And I don't care if there's 0 psi in there, make sure those buttons pop. Both of my buttons popped at 20 to 40 psi. That now completes my brake test. And then we're going to move on to the in-cab inspection. That's pass or fail. If you follow it verbatim, just like I described, you will pass your brake test. This is a problem. There we go. No Wi-Fi, but that's all right. So our in-cab inspection, first thing you're going to do is a safe start. So a safe start just consists of putting your seatbelt on. And some examiners, this isn't pass or fail, but it's not a bad idea. Put your seatbelt on. Say, I have my fire extinguisher in cab and my triangles, which you don't have to show those, but you have to know that you have those, and spare fuses. The safe start is basically what I said. You're going to let it cycle through. And what this does, it tells the instructor that the ABS is working. You don't have a check engine light that'll go out. Basically, that this vehicle is safe to test in. Once it cycles through, make sure you let it cycle through. At this point, you're going to say, I will check my windshield wipers. My windshield wipers are working. I'm going to check my windshield washer. Windshield washers are working. I'm going to check my indicator lights. Would you please check my lights for me? The instructor will get out, and you're going to have your window down at this point. And your truck doesn't have to be running for this. At this point, assuming your brake test. If you're still waiting to do your brake test, let it run so you can do this. We're not doing our brake test again because we already did it. So your lights are going to work without that on. So my four-way hazards. You're going to activate your hazards. Right turn signal. Left turn signal. Running lights and clearance lights. That's going to be these lights and those lights, or ID lights. Low beams. High beams. Make sure you see it, because if you don't see it in here, he's not going to see it out there. And that's your light check. You're gonna do your city horn, and you're gonna do your county horn or country horn or air horn. You will need it on for this. You're gonna want to check your defrost. Doesn't matter. My defrost is working. You gotta have defrost to drive a truck, and you're definitely gonna want air conditioning. Now, that's not necessarily a pass or fail, but it's a pass or fail in life. So we're gonna do underneath the hood now. So this would be our outside inspection. Maybe let's see if I can do this without breaking my neck. Hold that for a second. My wind thing. Dang it. Where'd that thing go? Not gonna get all that wind in there. All right, so to start with, you're gonna approach your vehicle, and you'll repeat it just like this. I will approach the front of my vehicle. I'm looking for any puddles that would indicate a leak. I'm looking for the vehicle to lean either way, which would indicate a tire problem or a suspension problem. And you're going to do your light check out here. You're going to say, my low beams and high beams are working and they're clear. My four ways, left turn signal, right turn signal, and my ID and clearance lights are working. And I just failed. See, we're going to learn together today, y'all. Because we want those on. We need those on to make sure they are working. So, probably can't see it, but high beams, which he's already done the light check so he knows they're working, but you don't want to make sure you point them out. Somebody want to lift the hood? I will now do my under the hood inspection. And a lot of it's in the verbiage too. They want to hear you say this stuff because basically they want to know that you know your vehicle. So that's the answer to the question. Why do we do a pre-trip inspection? For one, you need to know the components and the functionality in order to make sure it's operating safely. So here's a tip from me to you. I like to start front to back and top to bottom. That way you don't miss anything. And you're going to do everything in groupings. So here's a tip. Anything that holds water is securely mounted, not loose or leaking. Anything that's electric is securely mounted, not cut, frayed, or corroded. Anything that's metal is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. So you can start from either side, completely up to you. You'll say, we'll start with the components. So my coolant reservoir is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking, and is within the proper level. My windshield washer reservoir is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or leaking, and is at the proper level. And sometimes if you want, when you're doing this, like for real doing it, you can shake it and see where the level's at. And you can say my exhaust, that's your turbo. That's not actually on the test, but it's not a bad thing to know because that's tied to your exhaust system. And you'll say my exhaust system is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or loose or leaking. And I would check my exhaust system to make sure that there are no soot lines, which would indicate an exhaust leak. And there's the rest of your exhaust right there. So, like I said, it doesn't matter which side you start on. You also have a fuel tank over there probably. You can hit that on one side or the other. And you have also on this vehicle, you have your water pump right here. My water pump is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. Obviously, that's your alternator. Not on the test, but good to know.
What about, say he gets a truck with stacks?
Yeah, you can follow the stacks up for your exhaust. So we're going to do our steering components because it's part of this. So my drive shaft is securely mounted, not cracked or broken or missing. My steering gearbox is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking because it holds fluid. My power steering pump right there is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. And here you have some more steering components, not necessarily on the test. And you just hit all of your electrical stuff at once. You say, all my electrical connections are securely mounted, not cracked, cut, or frayed. Power steering reservoir. Mine's filthy, of course. Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking, and is at the proper level. Then we're going to go with our suspension group up here. So you can start wherever you want. I prefer to start from the top and go down, and then start from the front and go back. That way you don't miss anything. You don't have to do every single side. So I'm not going to do this side, then walk over there. You got 40 minutes to do this. Okay. My shock absorber is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking because it does hold fluid. My shock absorber top mount and bottom mount are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My leaf spring is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My front leaf spring hanger and my rear leaf spring hanger are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. That's your suspension group. Then we're moving on to your brake group. So my brake chamber is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking because it's an air component. Yep, that's your front brake chamber. My brakes, my drums, my brake shoes are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing, and are free of debris. I would check my pads to make sure that there are at least 1/8 inch of pads. And these are drum brakes. It's important to point that out. My drums are securely mounted, not cracking, broke, or missing. My tires, you move on to your tires. My tires are securely mounted. I don't have any cupping or bulging. I have at least 432 tread depth on my steer tires. I would check the tire pressure at the tire valve with the tire pressure gauge to ensure that it's the proper pressure. My lug nuts are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. I would check for rust trails to make sure that they're not loose. Like I said, this hasn't been washed. So those aren't actually loose, that's just rust. This is your hub seal, exactly. My hub seal and reservoir securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. Thank you. Good job. Somebody's been doing their homework. And you can check this by pulling that out. It shouldn't be over. Or this is how you fill it. That's your cap. I can't say that I've honestly ever had to fill those. Yeah, if you got to fill those, you got a bigger issue, probably bearings or something. My rims are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, and are not welded. You're not allowed to have welded rims on a CMV. My frame is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or welded. Not allowed to have a cracked frame that's been welded together. My steps are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My fuel tank is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing, or leaking because it holds fluid. My caps are securely mounted. And then inside here, you'll see the straps. My fuel tank straps are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. Again, your frame, and you can hit your steps and your catwalk at the same time. So my steps and my catwalk are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My tractor frame is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My pigtail, which is your electrical connection, my airlines, glad hands are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or loose, or leaking. This is your bulkhead of your trailer. My trailer bulkhead is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or bulging, which would indicate a load shift. My splash guards are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or missing. My front leaf spring hanger, every axle group, you got to do at least one of them. You don't have to do all of them, but you got to do at least one. So again, you're going to hit your leaf spring hanger is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking, front and back. My leaf springs are securely mounted, and just make an appearance to look in there. They want to know that you know the vehicle's actually in good shape. And then again, you have airbags here too. My airbags are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. My top airbag mount and my bottom airbag mount are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. My bud rims are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. You might have super shingles, so you wouldn't say bud rims. If you do have bud rims, make sure you say are clear of debris. My bud rims are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted, and have not been welded. My lug nuts are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted. I would look for rust trails to ensure that I do not have a loose lug nut. And again, I would check my tires are securely mounted, not loose or leaking, and there's no cupping or bulging. There is also no steel hanging out. I have at least 230 seconds tread depth on my tires. And I would check my tire pressure at the valve stem with the tire pressure gauge. Here we have our trailer apron, which is this part. My trailer apron is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. Free of illegal welds on the tires. I did say that, right? All right, we're getting to our fifth wheel. Almost done, actually. This is your fifth wheel, and your kingpin is inside your fifth wheel, obviously. So my kingpin is securely mounted. Again, just do it all at once. I'm kind of jumping around here, which isn't really a good thing. Hit your trailer all at once. So my DOT reflective tape is securely mounted and not missing. My trailer apron is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My lights on my trailer, my ID lights, my clearance lights are securely mounted and the proper color and are working. My fifth wheel is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My landing gear is securely mounted. It is all the way in the up position, not cracked, broken, or missing. My fifth wheel plate, my fifth wheel mounting platform are all securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing, or nor have they been welded. And my locking pin is securely in place. And I would check my locking jaw My locking jaw is across my kingpin, indicating my trailer is secured. I would check my brake lights, my tail lights, my four-ways, my turn signals, and my reverse lights, and they are working in the proper color. My drive line, my drive shaft is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My cross members are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. My universal joints are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing, and are free of illegal welds. Just a good thing to say. And if it's metal, you can say bent or twisted too. You might as well throw it in there. It sounds good. So my drive line's not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted.
Drive line. That's the drive shaft.
Drive shaft, yeah. Basically, my yoke is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking, because it does hold, like hydraulic fluid for the transmission. Yeah, you got a rear yoke and a front yoke, and then you got your transmission yoke too.
So you want to name all those when you're doing it?
It's a good idea. It just shows you know what's there. And my trailer frame and cross members are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted, and are free of illegal welds. The side of my trailer is securely mounted. It is free of any holes, and there is no balking, which would indicate a load shift. We already hit that light. Again, you got another tire group. You're going to get tired of it. So my tandems are securely mounted. The pins are in place, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted, free of illegal welds. My airlines are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or leaking. My bud rims are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted, free of illegal welds. There is no debris in between there. My tires are securely mounted, not cracked, or not broken, or leaking. There's no cupping. There's no bulging. There's at least 2/32 tread depth. I would check the tire pressure at the tire valve stem with the tire pressure gauge. My hub seal is securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. My lug nuts are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. I would check rust trails to make sure that I don't have loose lug nuts, and they are free of illegal welds. My airbags are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. The top mount and bottom mount are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. And you should have shocks back here. Some of them have springs. Yeah, these have like springs. So make sure you know what you got. Some trailers have shocks, some have springs. In this case, my springs are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. The front and back mount are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted, I should have said. And I'm pretty sure that covers that. So quit clicking out of this. He's going to make sure we didn't miss nothing here. Oh, mirrors. I didn't check my mirrors up there. And during your in-cab inspection, make sure you check your mirrors. My mirrors are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing, and they are set for me. So I'm glad I checked that. Shirt flame, lens, and then we're going to do back. The back of the trailer, and this is it. So you only got to do one side. You don't have to do both sides. Each side's the same. They understand that if you know how to pre-trip this side, then you know how to pre-trip the other side. So my trailer doors are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted. All of my hinges are intact and not broken. My trailer door handles are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted, and my doors are secured. My four-ways, my brake lights, my tail lights, my running lights are all securely mounted and are in working order, and they are the proper color. And that's it. That's your pre-trip.
Before you even do the driving or anything, you run through the whole
Yep,
thing.
you got to pass your pre-trip before you can do the driving exam.
I know a girl just flunked it twice.
dipstick, and we'll do that real quick. None of this is pass or fail. If I miss something, you can go back and get it again.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask too.
So, like right now, I just forgot I checked my oil. Like, and you can even ask the examiner. You're like, I'm pretty sure I'm done with my pre-trip. You're like, I'm pretty sure I'm done with my pre-trip. How much time do I have left? If he says you got 10 minutes left, walk back around the truck. If you got the time, it's not going to hurt you. Or he'll say, yes, you're done with your pre-trip because you already passed it. Or you failed the air brakes. But that's not likely to happen. So you're just going to pop this out. And I just wiped mine right on the side of my tire. Pop her back in there. Just do it because this is something you're going to do every single day. My oil is at the proper level and does not need filled. So just some quick identification. Do you guys know what this is? That is no, that is a fuel water separator filter. You know what that is? That's a fuel filter. Your oil filter is way up underneath there. But, and if I was low on oil, I would fill my oil at the oil fill cap. By the way, that's a point. If you don't get the oil fill cap, my oil fill cap is securely mounted. So you might as well say it. Are there any questions?
Will they have you name all this, or?
No, it's just good to know. Okay. It's just good to know.
See, yeah, that's my thing. My main thing is just being able to name the shit.
Yeah, you're, and I'm gonna give you guys this. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's why I actually do that.
So basically, whichever side your liquids are on, that's where they want you to start, right? Or it all depends.
You can start on either side you want.
Oh, so it's up to you.
Yep. If you want it, whatever you're comfortable with. Personally, you got more stuff that you got to hit on this side because of your airlines and your fuel tank and your steps, your catwalk steps, your catwalk. So I like to start over there and then just travel around because you're on a time limit. So it doesn't hurt to kind of optimize your time or just do it a little more efficiently. But yeah, that's the whole pre-trip.
Yeah, I think in person it's more of easier because me watching videos, it seems like real complicated. I'm learning the parts, but I'm reading a damn paper like this and it has like 60 fucking things I gotta look at.
Yeah, there's 34 points now because it's broke down into groupings. Does anybody want to try the brake test?
Yeah, I'll try.
All right, we're going to jump up here and latch that side with you. Go ahead, brother.
Run through it like I'm doing it?
Yep, just like you're going to perform the brake test. Yeah, you could have started it from that position, but that's all right. You're going to cycle through. Yep, so what are you going to say?
Turning the key to let it safe start.
I'm going to perform a safe start.
Once I hear the clicking's done, let it start it.
Yep, my ABS light came on and went out. That's an important one.
Before or after? Like once it cycles through, my ABS light came on and then went out, indicating my ABS is working properly. So then you'll just say, I will now perform a brake test. And we're assuming that your air's already built up. Okay. So keep going with it, or?
We'll probably have to get a little more air in there because we used it all up. Hey, reach up top there and grab me them lights. Right up top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, these are a trucker's best friend right here. Because guess what? Not everyone's gonna have bad. So, in case of emergency. Even if they do got bathrooms, right?
Yeah, I went into
How much you got in there?
My secondary light turned off.
Okay.
But my primary is still on 40.
Like I said, you're already going to have the air pressure in there, so.
Yeah, 'cause you drove there.
Yep, you drove it there, and you'll probably leave it running while you're in there. Well, you'll do the safe start anyways, but you'll be able to start right away on your emergency brake test. And you remember what I said to do first thing you do when you get in the truck? There you go. Even though you're not technically going on the road yet, you're getting ready to do a brake test. So now, if the examiner wants to leave his off, that's on him. Yeah.
Primary light went off, secondary light went off. Still.
Yeah, but it won't switch into gear until your transmission. You got to be over 100 psi before your transmission will shift into automatic. Because everything in this truck runs on air. Your transmission, your air brakes, your anti-lock brakes, your differential, your your off-road or your anti-slip traction control.
And when I go to school at the end of the month for this, they'll teach me all this and run through like the definitions of what everything means and stuff.
Yeah, you'll do this during your CDL training. You'll do this so much you'll be sick of it. But you'd be surprised how many people get to this and fail.
Yeah, a chick that went through the same school just flunked it twice, flunked it back to back. Yeah.
Yep.
And her husband's a semi driver.
So the pre-trip there's room for error, but the brake test there's not. Yeah. It's pass or fail. Because if you don't understand the functionality of your brakes and you can't confirm that they're working, why do I want to drive down the road with you?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah. Alright, it's over.
Is the yellow triangle off?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and run through your brake test.
Where's the yellow triangle he's looking for?
It would be an orange triangle. You'll know if it's there when you go to shift.
Okay.
But if you don't see an orange triangle, then you're good.
Okay.
My brake test. Machine, trailer. See if.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what order you do them in as long as you get everything.
Okay.
But you want to do parking brakes, trailer emergency brake, service brake. But you can do a tractor parking brake or trailer parking brake. Those don't really matter, but it's a good thing to develop a rhythm and do it the same every time. That way, when you do it, you don't mess it up. Yep. So yep. And these, because of their automatics, you won't even be able to accelerate with your parking braking gates. So
parking brakes are working.
There you go.
Now we'll do my tractor brakes.
Yep. And say what you're doing. I will disengage my trailer valve and I will engage my tractor valve.
They want the wording, huh?
Yeah, it's all about the verbiage.
That's what I need to learn.
That's. I'll put it in drive. Tug a little bit.
Yep.
My tractor brakes are properly working. Disengage my parking brakes.
Trailer emergency brakes.
Trailer emergency brakes.
Yep. Red brake out, trailer brake.
And
Yellow brake out, tractor emergency brake. Yep. Now
I'm going to test my service brakes. I'm going to engage my trailer air supply. And I'm going to engage my tractor air supply. Put it in drive.
That's good. That's good.
Now my service brakes are working. I'm disengaged both.
Nope.
No.
Leave them both in. Put it in neutral.
Yeah.
Put it in neutral. Shut your engine off. Are you up to
100.
Yeah. As long as as long as your low air warning light and buzzer are on when you start it, you should be all right on that. But it's not a bad idea at that point to go ahead and knock out your governor cutoff. Okay. So at that point, you could have let it run and let your governor cut off. So if you want, we'll just say that you did it for the sake of not having to start this back up and wait till it cuts off. So at that point, I would recommend doing your governor cutoff, at which point governor will cut off between 125 and 140 psi. And when it cuts out, you say my governor cut out at 125 psi. I will now check my
my ABS lights, my red lights.
Nope, you're going to check your low air warning light and your low air warning audible alarm. Okay. And do you know what?
The same thing as the ABS?
No, the ABS is on your safe start. It'll come on and go off. So that's not really, I mean, that's part of the safe start. That's part of the in-cab inspection. It's not really part of the brake test. But what PSI will your
55.
40 to 60 PSI. So my low air warning light and audible alarm. Yep. And then you just start fanning them off. Important to note, both these are in and that your ignition is on. And now you can start fanning them off. Should be good.
My indicator, my alarm is going off.
Is your light on?
Yeah, my light is on.
All right. All right, you're good. Stop right there. Say your thing.
My brake light, shit. My light is working. My low indicator light is working, and my beeper is working. Properly working.
In between
40 and 60 psi.
And now what do you do?
I keep fanning them. Well, keep dropping it till these two pop out.
I will now test my emergency brakes. I will fan the air off until they activate between 20 and 40 psi. Go ahead.
And no matter what semi we're in, it will always be like this.
Some trucks you might have to go all the way down to 0 before it pops. Yeah. And if it acts like it's going to get stuck, just give it a little nudge. Okay. But you want that thing to activate because they could say, well. Okay. So, yeah, don't lose faith because it'll happen. You got about 2 more pumps and they'll be popped. They're already coming out. See?
My emergency brakes are activated and properly working.
What PSI?
At 20 PSI.
Between 20 and 40 PSI.
Between 20 and 40 PSI.
And then you would say that completes my brake test. And at that point, he's going to say, you did it, man. Let's move on to the next thing.
Next thing would be checking my mirrors. All my mirrors.
Yeah, your in-cab inspection. Technically, I would do your in-cab inspection first before your brake test. Because at the end of your in-cab inspection is going to be your brake test. So go ahead and click that off because you'll need that on for your heater. But yeah, you can do your well. First of all, you got to say, go ahead. What are you going to tell us?
My lighting indicators and my lights.
Will you please go out
and check?
Yep. Make sure you ask them to get out because otherwise they're just going to sit there and look at you. Which is crazy to think, but they're not really allowed to help you. I mean, you can ask them questions and maybe they'll give you a hint or maybe they won't. You don't really want to assume that they will.
Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Hazards. See my lights. Lights are working.
And those are your ID lights and your parking lights. And then if you click it one more, that's your low beams, and then you can test your high beams.
High beams.
Yep.
And then I will now test my defroster.
Yeah, you could do that. You would have to have your ignition on for that, obviously. Go ahead, keep going. Yep, you got everything in here that you got in your car, so. Yep, you can check your washers and your wipers. Again, you probably need your key on for those. So you just push it in for the washer. Yeah. So my wipers are working and my washers are working. Yeah, my windshield washers are properly working. My windshield wipers, yep. And then you said it right when we first started. It's one thing that I missed earlier. Yep.
My mirrors are good for me. They're not cracked, broken, or dirty. And they're properly mounted.
Yep. And then I believe we got two more things.
My city horn.
Yep.
My hair horn.
Oh yeah, you're right, Clayton. Your fire extinguisher, your triangles, and spare fuses. And I believe that's all of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You want to do the rest of it?
Yeah, we want to do it.
I'm gonna let Clayton test it. There's the list. And so when you do your training, you're not gonna be the only one there. So just like if you went to the Army on the buddy system, go to CDL school on the buddy system, because then you can hold each other accountable. So he's got the checklist. You guys will have the checklist, so you can test each other. Every day before you get in that truck or before you start your maneuvers or anything, you're going to run through your pre-trip.
Okay. Yeah, I already took that one off.
Oh, well, I'm going to let you lift it then. Why am I doing all the heavy lifting? I'm not. Yeah, go ahead and turn your lights on in your four ways. Yeah, you could do that, or some like the Kenworths have a foot thing here. Be careful, because if you mess that radar up, it throws this truck all out of whack. That's your assisted cruise control, and it's your collision mitigation system. If you mess that radar up, this truck will act wonky as heck. It'll slam on the brakes while you're driving down the road.
My lights are properly working. They're not dirty. They're the right color.
Here, just so we got some audio. Should light up. There you go.
My lights are properly working. They're the right color. They're not dirty. My mirrors.
You're going to want to say what lights. So you're going to say my low beams, my... Amber for my turn signals, four ways and clearance lights, and clear for my headlights. Just good to know.
Yeah, good to know.
It might cost you a point if you don't say it, but this is important to know. All of your lights together are 1 point. So, not likely if you miss something like that they're going to deduct it.
Okay. Look under my trunk. There's no keys or anything. And it's properly level. So the tires are good and road is not uneven. The truck's good. I'll go to
I think I missed my bumper too first time we did it. DOT bumper.
Yeah.
Securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted. Now, I would suggest starting on your passenger side. Just for time purposes.
Got the top level, it's properly secured, mounted, not loose. My hoses are not frayed, broken, or loose and not leaking. My windshield wiper fluid is properly secured, not leaking, and it's securely mounted
Proper level.
in the proper level.
Those are reservoirs. I don't know if that verbiage really matters, but I would say you got that.
My starter belt is properly secured, not frayed, not broken, and it has roughly a 3/4 to an inch of play, or was it half an inch for that one?
Yeah, that's oh yeah, I missed that too. I'm glad he brought that up. I missed the belts. So the belts are a big deal. You don't want no more than 3/4 inch play in your serpentine belt. But FYI, this is your air conditioner pump. Your starter's way up under there. That's your alternator. You don't have to name those. Don't confuse yourself. Don't even worry about them.
You have to name the water
You do have to name your water pump, and you do need to be able to identify it. And most of them are belt driven. Some of them are they're drive driven, so they're driven off the drive. But this one is belt driven, and it's right here. And the way you can tell is you got these hard lines, these high pressure lines going into them.
That would be the water pump.
That's your water pump.
Keep going down to that side.
While you're here, I would hit your exhaust.
My exhaust is my turbo. My exhaust is properly secured, not leaking, except by soot.
Yeah, and just look at it all the way back. That way he knows that you know where it's at. Or he or she.
Secured, not, no holes, not damaged. Now we're going to go to the other side.
You have to do just like the suspension stuff on one side or both?
Just one side.
My engine oil cap, my dipstick.
Securely mounted, not loose.
Not loose.
I would check my engine oil.
Check the engine oil. It's at the right level. My drive shaft.
Steering shaft.
Steering shaft. Yeah, drive shaft's back there. My steering shaft is properly secured, connected, and not loose. My U joints and my U bolts are properly secured, not broken or cracked. My steering box is properly secured, not cracked, leaking, or broken. Steering fluid.
Yep, power steering reservoir.
Steering reservoir is properly secured, not leaking. The hoses are not frayed, broken, or leaking, and it's at the correct level. Shit. My turning system, my 3-point turning system is properly secured. No illegal welds, not broken, not loose. Then go to my air brake lines are properly secured, not broken, not leaking. Then going to the brake drums. Well, the brakes.
Yep.
No, my shocks are.
I would do your whole brake group while you're on it. Yeah, I think you was on the right path there.
Okay. My hoses are properly secured, not frayed, not broken. My drums have a 1/4 inch of.
Those would be your brake linings.
What?
The shoes.
The shoes.
Yeah, you got at least, I think it's 1/8 inch.
Okay.
But it might be 1/4. I'll verify that.
There's no debris or extra oil or grease in between them. Everything's secure, no illegal welds on the inside of the rim. It's properly, my tire's properly secured to the frame, no illegal welds. My shock absorbers, my top is properly secured, mounted, not loose. My bottom shock absorber is properly secured, the bolt is not loose and not broken. My leaf springs, right? Yeah, my leaf springs are not cracked, broken, or illegal welded.
Bent or twisted. Cracked, broken, bent, or twisted. If it's metal, securely mounted is a big one. You're going to want to get used to saying that. Just remember SM, securely mounted. And you want to hit your hangers front and back. Leaf spring hangers.
Oh yeah, the little things. My leaf spring hangers correctly mounted, secured and mounted, not broken, no illegal welds, and properly secured.
Did you do front and back?
Front and back.
Yeah. Did you get your brake drum? You
Yeah, I
said
got the brake
okay.
drum. No legal welds.
Yep. Free of debris.
Free of debris. Yeah. No extra grease.
Yep. No grease. That's a good
My
one.
truck frame properly secured.
And the frame you don't have to hit up here, but I mean you're here, so it's like extra credit, right? So if you miss it back there, you already got it up here.
My truck frame is no legal weld, not Swiss and securely and mounted. My outside of my tire, no bulges or holes or leaks.
Yeah, your whole tire, because you don't want bulging inside either.
My tread depth is properly the amount that's needed, which I think it's 230 seconds.
430 seconds on your steers and 230 seconds on your drives or your tandems.
Okay. And then my lug nuts are properly secured, not loose. Yeah, or not illegal welded. My rims.
Rust trails.
Look for rust trails.
Yeah, rust trails would indicate a loose lug nut.
So you gotta mention that, or
yeah, they want to know that you know your lug nuts are secure. So that's just one other way of saying that they're secure.
Okay. And then my rims properly on there, no illegal welds. Properly secured onto the tire.
Securely mounted, not broken, bent, or twisted.
Securely mounted, not broken.
And when I send you those, I'll type that in at the bottom. That way you just get used to the verbiage.
My tire valve properly secured, not leaking, not broken. Check the tire pressure. My hubcap seal is built to the correct level, and it's not leaking, broken, or cracked. No legal welds. That. My catwalk properly secured, mounted. My mirrors are properly mounted.
You do your door too. My door is securely mounted. The hinges are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted. When you do your steps, go ahead and do your catwalk too. So you'll say my catwalk and my steps, and just indicate. They probably got a pointer stick, which is why I was using that laser pointer. Yeah, so you'll probably have a pointer stick, so you'll just point at it, and that way they know you know what you're talking about.
My fuel cap is properly secured, not leaking, connected to the chain inside, and the seal is correct and not leaking. My straps for my fuel tank is properly secured. My glad hands are properly secured. Seals on the inside are properly good, not cracked, frayed, or broken.
What do you call pigtail?
Your electrical
connection. Electric. The pigtail is correctly working, not broken, cracked, or frayed, or no electrical wire showing.
Yeah, I think he said glad hands. Make sure you say airlines too. My airlines and my glad hands are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or leaking.
Okay.
Yeah, loose or leaking.
That's all one piece.
Yeah.
My mud flaps.
Splash guard.
Yeah, you call them something else. My
splash. I'm glad you mentioned that because I forgot my mud flaps, and that's why it's good to work with somebody else because they'll keep you honest.
Yeah. So this wouldn't be. So I couldn't say for this. I couldn't say mud flap.
It's not a mud flap. It's a splash guard.
Okay. My splash guard's properly mounted, secured, not broken. My leaf springs properly mounted, secured, not broken, or illegal welds. Same thing with the tires. Check this outside.
When you say your leaf springs, make sure you get your front and your back hanger.
Okay. That's what I have to remember, front and back hanger. My tire is probably at the right tread depth, 230 seconds. Front one's 430 seconds. Check your tire lug nuts, no rust around them, which shows it's loose. On the rim, there's no legal welds, properly secured. no debris in between the tires. The airbags are properly working. No cracks, abrasions, my apron's properly secured, no loose bolts. What do you say that was called again?
That's your fifth wheel mounting plate. Your apron's up here. Yeah, but I mean, I think you're on the right track. Go ahead and knock your tractor out, and then start with your trailer.
Okay.
Fifth wheel mounting plate.
My fifth wheel mounting plate is properly secured, no cracks, legal welds, and it is not loose. My kingpin is in the correct locking position.
Locking pin.
Locking pin. Yeah, the kingpin's still on the inside.
Yep.
My locking pin's correctly locked.
And another thing I think I forgot was my pivot pin. So that's your pivot pin and your cotter pin.
And what would you say for that one?
My pivot pin and cotter pin are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted, and my cotter pin is not missing. The cotter pin is, it just goes like that, and then the pivot pin is what lets your fifth wheel go. Yeah.
And my fifth wheel is properly secured, not broken, cracked, and properly greased.
You have to do this on first here, don't you?
No, just one tire. Oh yeah, your hub seal.
Not sprayed, not broken. My lights are properly working and they're the proper color.
Yeah, 4 ways, brake lights, left turn signal, right turn signal, and reverse lights. Yeah, I do drop trailers. So.
My kingpin is properly locked and secured on the locking jaw. No legal welds, not broken or anything. My mud flaps are secured, not broken.
Not missing.
Not missing.
Frame and cross members and your stabilizer bar. I think I forgot the stabilizer bar too. So my frame, which you hit the frame up there, but not really the cross members.
My cross member is properly secured, no legal welds, not bent or broken,
twisted.
Twisted.
Yeah, and then your stabilizer bar, them little bars that run across there. There's another word for them too. I can't remember. Tensioner bar, I think, or something like that. If you're going to do your trailers, again, start from the front and work your way back. That way you don't miss your lights, your bulkhead, your trailer apron.
Well, I don't think we have a bulkhead.
You got a flatbed?
No, tanks.
Oh, you got a bulkhead.
Oh, yeah, you're going to check.
Yeah, you'll have a bulkhead. Just the front of it.
Okay. My bulkhead is properly...
It's not bulging, which would indicate a load shift.
Okay, it's not bulging, which would indicate load shift. My lights are properly working, secured in the right color, white. My clearance lights.
You could say the side of your trailer too. There's no bulging, which would indicate a load shift.
Okay.
So you could knock both those out at once. Yeah, no holes or dents or.
My GLT tape is about 50% of the trailer.
And you said your apron, but you could say it again.
My apron is secured, no legal welds, not twisted, bent, or broken. My landing gear is properly secured, not twisted, bent, or broken, or illegal welds. My lights, my indicator flashing, my turn signal lights are properly the right color.
Yeah, and some of them might deduct a point if you say my landing gears. You got to say your landing gear's fully up, and that your handle's secure. Which I don't know. I've never been pulled over for my handle not being in a holster. Some of them they don't even go into it.
And what I have to do do the back tires too? Or?
Yep, at least one set.
Okay.
So like up there where you repeated your airbag, you didn't have to do that.
So just the tire basically then.
Yeah, just one side, one set.
Okay. My tires proper thread dress. Yeah. My lug nuts are properly secured. No legal welds. Check for rust. That's how you know they're loose. My tires are properly PSI. No leaks. My hubcap seal, no legal welds, not leaking. Properly secured. No debris between the tires. No legal welds. Properly secured to the rim. My frame is properly secured. No legal welds, bits, or twists. My style, not to mention the back again.
Well, on the trailer, because you did them for the tractor.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would do them again.
Okay. And then my airbags are not broken, cracked. They're properly secured. They're not frayed.
Not leaking. My top mount and bottom mount are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted.
My top mount, my bottom mount is properly secured, not leaking, broken, or twisted. And then back, we don't have these.
This one's weird. It's got most newer trailers probably gonna have shocks and bags.
The back shocks are properly secured, not leaking. No dents, legal welds, or twists. My airbags are properly secured, top and bottom.
Yeah, you only gotta do one. You don't have to do both. Another thing I missed, if you could, how would you check your slack adjusters?
You would move them. They normally have a 3/4. I think it's 3/4 to an inch of play.
No more than an inch of play, but you would have to have your brakes off, so you would have your
tractor brakes.
Your emergency brakes would not be set, and you would chalk your wheels, and then you would check that there's no more than an inch of play in your slack adjuster.
Slack adjuster.
Yep. And you can say that to your slack adjuster. So it's good to know these parts. You got a slack adjuster, you got an S cam, which is what turns in the middle right there, the center of it. That's your S cam that pushes your slack adjuster forward and backwards. And that's your actual brake chamber and your hoses, all part of your braking group. Did you get your brakes and your drums and your linings?
Yeah, I did that for a
Oh, we do got shocks. Yeah. So shocks are not cracked, broken, loose, or leaking. Shock mounts top and bottom, securely mounted, not cracked, broken, bent, or twisted. Our mud flaps are securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing.
Yeah, I did the brake drums and.
Here's another one I missed. ABS light.
Now to the back. My lights, indicators are working. My turn lights are color. My hinges are properly working. My top lights are properly working. The right color, and they're clear of dirt. My trailer handles are not bent or broken. And they properly work. My back trailer frame is properly secured, not lifted, bent, or broken. Properly secured on the trailer. You got a
Nah, there's bump guards, but your DOT bumper and your DOT reflective tape. And I think you said your doors, but your doors. Yeah. And then you would say, I would do this side the same way I did that side.
I would do the right side the same way I did the left side. And now that's the end of it.
This concludes my pre-trip inspection. How much time do I have left? And at that point, your examiner would either indicate that maybe you missed something. They might say something like, well, you still have 10 minutes left. Are you sure you're done? And if you got 10 minutes left and they say, "Are you sure you're done?" Well, matter of fact, just yeah. Think of anything that you might have missed. You can just start walking back over it, just like we did right there. How I missed 3, 4, 5 things. None of those were pass or fail, but if you can get 100%, then you're 100% guaranteed to pass. So I think you're. See, when I did it, it was like the 101 point inspection, and you could miss like 7 or something. And I don't think I scored anywhere near 100%. I asked my examiner, I said, "Well, how did I do?" He said, "It doesn't matter. You passed." But now it's the 34 points, and it's broke down into groupings.
So it's better to do the whole tractor and everything first and then jump to the trailer?
I would, because it just makes it easier to remember. If you can put it into groups, 34 points sounds a heck of a lot better than 101.
So if you pass your pre-trip, but your maneuver, you come back, you got to redo your pre-trip?
No.
Okay.
I think you have to wait 24 hours, but you got to schedule it so it's not going to. Right. I think you got 30 days to do all 3, but if you don't advance, then you have to start over. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong about that, but I'll check and make sure.
And since I'm learning how to drive standard, or that when I do my pre-trip, can I drive an automatic? Or do I have to
Yeah. Basically, you want to test in a manual because if you test in automatic, you have an automatic restriction. Which
I'm going to school for manual, but I don't know.
Yeah, most CDL training programs are going to have you do manual.
Yeah.
But pretty much any mega fleet, all the big carriers are going to all manuals or all automatics because they're better on fuel and safety reasons.
Yeah.
But
so will I take my test in a standard?
That'll probably depend on who you do your training through. You're probably going to test in one of your training trucks.
Okay, yeah. And I think they're all automatic. Yeah,
they're probably all automatic.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, you'll test through the school. Are you going to Great Lakes?
No, I'm going to Terra College to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only 3 weeks.
You'll test in one of their trucks.
Okay. Yes.
Now, there's no guarantee that you get your CDL. They tell you that when you do it. Yeah. But who's to stop you from keeping going and testing? Because you'll complete the class and you'll have the certificate. Yeah. So when I did it, and I think up until the beginning of last year, you didn't have to have the certificate. Now you have to have it to even test. Yeah, well, which I had mine anyways, but basically you got to go through the school anyway, so you get that, and then worst case scenario, if you fail and they don't let you retest in their truck, you can go rent a truck, or you can use any truck that'll pass the inspection. But I'm fully confident that you're going to pass the first time.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah, that's
it's all about preparation. Like I said, you'll do this so many times you'll be tired of it. Yeah. But I know people that have failed and still don't have their CDLs.
Yeah, the girl I go to church with, her husband's been driving trucks for 12 years, and literally she just fell twice. Yeah, twice. I think hers was backing up or something on the drive. She passed everything but the drive or something. I don't know. And
that's another thing I was going to go over too, which we'll do that later in the skills test. But they changed it. When I did it, you did straight line backing, you did offset, and they would tell you which side to offset to, and then you either did alley dock or parallel. Now it's completely different. But I have that information too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to ask
you. But yeah, I'll put that, we'll do that information too. And then next week or sometime in the very near future, I'm going to set up the skills test and we'll run through that too. I'm going to get that shed moved out of the way. That way I can put the obstacle course up. But I'll make sure you guys get those. Matter of fact, I'll print them off for you right now. That way you have hard copies. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next J-Road Trucker live instructional. Everything you need. You know what? People pay like $10,000 for this information, and he's paying $6,000, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks to learn it. You just learned it in an hour for free. So smash that subscribe button, share this video, and hit the like for the algorithm. Now get out of here.
That's dope.